Testing 1, 2. Am I on the internet? All right, I think I'm here. You guys hear me okay? All right, all right, all right. Cool. Good morning. Or afternoon or whatever it is, wherever you live. All right. Should be this should be fun. I really like working. It's been a while since I've done anything uh by uh by my friend Geoffrey. So I'm looking forward to it. Hello, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome. All right, all right. Let's see where this goes. I did a quick rough sketch. I don't know if I'm gonna maybe something like that. I don't quite know yet. But that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning the uh the rarely used blue and orange. Who made the drawing? Uh Geoffrey Gwin. Hey Davey, how's it going? We got old nasty Venom. So I'm gonna select all of Venom first. I think I've got everything. Minus that. I'm actually gonna make a quick layer just for Venom and probably one just for Miles, just so I can grab the whole selection quickly. Without having to grab the tongue and the teeth and the saliva or whatever else is flying around. Let's see. Let's go. Really need to do the background first on this, I think. Let me go ahead and separate him too. Nothing like a good old stream from you to start the day. There you go. Start your Monday morning. Have I read the Kate Stegman Venom run? I have not. I have not. I saw like the maybe the first few issues, I think, but not beyond that. I need the first few issues, just an issue or two. I think I had no problem with it. It was good. I have not read much of anything right now. Uh, but no, it looks great. And this is not a standard like Miles suit. So I'll need to figure out the colors on him too. It's sort of a unique. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of a like a Scarlet Spider ish look on this. But for now, I'm gonna get the biggest shapes going in here, and then let's see, minus miles. I can see this going one of two ways. We can either go a really like gray washed out background, or we can go, I think I'm gonna go really intense warm, because there's a good bit of cool colors on the background, I mean on the foreground, so it kind of makes sense, I think. So I'm gonna rough something in here and see what happens, something like that. And I'll actually break all this up in the buildings a little bit later. I'm just trying to get the overall, at least like a rough color scheme going here. And that way I can at least see where the background stands. To me, it's easier to choose your foreground colors if you what is that doing? There we go. If you know what your background looks like. At least for me. I'm probably gonna, because I know I'm gonna do this later, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now and get it out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and select, I think, all the lines in the background and separate them from the foreground, because I'm probably gonna color those a different color. And Geoffrey said he was fine with, he actually asked if I could blur the background somehow, and so I'm probably gonna hold off on doing a lot of detail in the background until I figured that out, because I don't want to do a whole lot of detail and then realize that that I'm gonna blur it all anyway. But I think I'm gonna do like a motion blur along the top that sort of fades into some clarity at the bottom so we can read this sign. This is kind of a commemorative thing for the Memphis Comics Expo, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks. Which, that means I really need to dig out all of my con stuff and like reorganize it, because it has been a while. It is just a pile of crap in a box. Most of it I probably need to get rid of. But I'm looking forward to actually doing a show again. It's been a long time. It's been since before COVID. I want to say the last one I did was it Seattle? I really don't even remember. It was either Seattle or Chicago. Since you're a colorist, I want to ask you, what is your favorite color? Is that the that is the burning question you come up with? I don't know. It's right about there. There you go. It's right about there. With orange a close second. So I mean that works out. somewhere between blue and somewhere between it's blue with tinted slightly to teal, but not quite, and not baby blue. Not periwinkle, which is you guys remember periwinkle? That, I don't know why that always stuck with me as a kid. The had the Crayola marker that was periwinkle. All right, is that everything? Nope. What's funny is when I'm using this quick mask thing to just make sure I haven't missed any lines, and I like the red. I really like the red. So I'm thinking about, I'm curious what this would look like. I don't know if I want to go all the way red, but if you're trying to make a print that's going to jump out at you, I guess that's one way of helping. That should actually make the colors on the red on Miles pop pretty well too. I don't know. I won't leave that. We'll see what happens. We can change it later if I don't like it. Non-repro blue. No, see, that's a little too pale. Now, my favorite blue is a little bit darker than that. Which artist in the industry is your favorite to color over? Man, of the people that I've worked on. Sorry, I got ice in my mouth. Are we supposed to pick favorites? I think I would have to pick Rebecca Isaacs. I think I could just color her work all day, every day. I want to orangify this a little bit more. That's what we're looking for. And I'm sort of, you can imagine, I did a live class yesterday for my patrons and YouTube members, and I give feedback on their work and usually use them as guinea pigs for lessons, lesson ideas. And but I was talking about how do you spell her last name? Rebecca Isaacs is let me type it out. I'll put it in the chat. Her first name is I'll just put it in here. I'll put it in the chat. You guys can. Sorry, I'm all caps there. But yeah. But yeah, I had a class with him yesterday, and I was trying to use Sudoku to explain color theory. I've still got to cook a little bit more on that lesson, but love her work. Yeah, we work together. Most of you people watching this, I assume, know this, but we worked together on a book called Money Shot for Vault. It was just the most fun I've ever had on a book, and it's really not close. So we'll see. But my theory is, if I'm just going to use all of the colors that are currently in the background I think. Do I want to go? I don't know if I want to go to one layer yet there though, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm having issues. I don't use CSP on the iPad, and I'm sorry, I just can't do tech support while I'm working. There's so much little detail in this background. Rebecca's art style is so great. Oh yeah, it's really good. Yeah, you're gonna be able to see this from space when I'm done with it. That's the goal. So of all the, so hopefully people will. Yeah, this will be good. Yeah, Rebecca's art is stunning. I mean, you can. I mean, you can like do sculptures from her drawings. Like I don't know how she does it. I really don't. They're just always very whoops. They're always you never have to like fudge any like the forms are so solid, you know? Will this be printed big? I don't know. Probably 11 by 17. It's just going to be a print, I think. Do his teeth generally lean? Don't they lean a little yellow or something? Yeah, probably so. And it looks like. Oh, there it is. Well, I could understand my flatter struggling a little bit with this. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's what. But this is the tongue. This is not. It's starting pretty dark on all these base colors. I'll build them up to be brighter. Do you hire flatters a lot? Uh, well, I have a flatter. I don't hire a lot of flatters though, because I already have one. I've had the same flatter for almost 10 years now. So I don't regularly hire them, but I'll use them on everything. I don't. I really don't like flatting myself at all. Like really, really don't like flatting. Part of the reason for that is that I never ever flatted myself regularly. Like even when I first started, I learned pretty quick. It's like page rates don't make sense if you're flatting yourself. Not in my case. It takes way too long. So All right. So I want this to be red because it's got the webbing. I know I want that to be red. And these need to be red. I think. Well, maybe not. Do we want those red? Maybe we do. We can change them if we don't want them. So I'm thinking, do we do his head red? He doesn't look as much like Miles that way. If I do this and then cut out his eyes, put a clipping mask on those. And maybe darken those a little bit. Yeah, when we make his eyes white, that'll work. And then maybe we do... Maybe he's feeling a little Scarlet Spider these days also. I think I like it. Flatting sucks eggs. You know what? Flatting is... If I could do it and take as long as you need to do it, like you're doing, you know, a coloring book, like you can get in kind of a zen place with it, and it's like, okay, this is all right, it's not too bad. The problem is you can't spend all day flatting. But like, you know, this would probably, I mean, this isn't that complicated, but it would add at least what, half an hour, 45 minutes or something to at least for me to flat this and then color it. And interior pages, it may add 2 hours to a page, so like it doesn't, like I'm done coloring by then for the most part, so like it just doesn't make sense most of the time. You flattened colors. Well, it's not flattened, it's flatted, I guess technically. Flatted colors on my own art recently. I wanted my friend to color me because I've been doing the same drawing over the past months, drawing for a week. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel you. Alright, so... where do I want to go from here? I'm sorry, I'm thinking. What did I do on the sketch? I did a sketch earlier to get me in the ballpark. But I don't know if I'll go with that or not. Let's see that. Yeah, that'll really stand out. Whoops. What brush? Do I want to use a brush? Do I want to use a lasso? What do I want to do with this? thinking. This is very dangerous. Yeah, this will be fastest. This is technically a pencil. And that blue will also kind of echo, I don't know what the word is for it. It'll help bring out that blue on Miles too. We have teeth everywhere. So many teeth. Who would win in a fight? Venom or Wolverine? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Wolverine being effectively unkillable probably means something, but but I don't know. I never played Ultimate Spider-Man. They just did an update on Cyberpunk 2077, so I picked that back up again. That game has come together really well. I mean, it started off bad, but they seem to have got their stuff together. Finally. Do I ever mess with a lot of traditional coloring, like Copics a lot? Not a lot. The only time that I ever do anything traditionally is when I'm at a show. Like if I'm at a con, like I actually just bought some new. I've never tried these before, but they're watercolor. I had never heard of them, but I got on Amazon. Let me see if I can find them. They're like watercolor brush pins, maybe is what they were called. They had let me find them real quick. Well, I thought, let's see, let me search watercolor. Yeah, I also got some watercolor pencils. Yeah, here we go. I've got it's a 24 pack nylon brush tip pens for watercolor painting. So apparently, I don't know. I might regret this. That it seemed to me that this would be easier to deal with, because I'm not used to dealing with regular watercolors anyway. But these, like, you squeeze the tip, and like the more you squeeze, the more water comes out. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know. We're gonna see if that does anything. And I also got some regular colored pencils too. So I'll probably do some hopefully do some commissions at the show. Oh, welcome back, Aqua. Those look like the koi watercolor brushes. I don't know a whole lot about them. I really don't. But it seemed like an interesting idea. So we'll see. I'm using a drawing tablet. This is it at the bottom of the screen. It's mounted on a arm. I'm doing this off camera. There. It's on a display arm, ergonomic arm, whatever they're called. Do I watch anime? I've watched some. I don't watch a ton, but there's I'm old, so like I remember the old like Ghost in the Shell and uh, Fist of the North Star. Um, what was the one? All like the old stuff is mostly what I know. I haven't watched any. I've tried to watch some of the newer ones, and even like some of the really popular ones, but for whatever reason, they so many of those shows, and I've had friends tell me this. They're like, "Oh, you just got to get past the first 30 episodes, and then it really picks up." And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. It's like, if you'll just watch the first 100 hours, after that it gets much better. I'm like, nah. Oh, hey Paul, how's it going? Paul's my brother. Welcome. I love to buy your Udemy courses. Thank you very much. Can I show my drawing tablet? It's a Cintiq uh, 16 Pro. One Piece has 1,000 episodes. Who has time for that? I mean, it might be good. I don't know how, if that's one that takes a while to get going, but yeah, for me it was like, I think I'd rather watch something that's good from the beginning, you know. And there was tomorrow Netflix will release a new Cyberpunk anime. I will be watching that. Actually, I will be watching that because I was actually playing. So I was playing Cyberpunk last night, and it's like my third playthrough. Like I've got. This is the only, like, I'm trying to think. I've got like 100 hours each in two different characters on Cyberpunk, and I'm about 60 hours into a third playthrough. Excuse me, third playthrough. And they had some new stuff appear on the map, and so I go, in that game, like, there's these headset VR things, you wear, and it's kind of like I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of like going into the Matrix or something, basically. And they had a thing, well, on like a picture, like a a glyph or something on the wall of this. Like you find this, you move a thing, and there's a weird glyph or something on the wall. And so if you scan that, and it played like probably 5 minutes from one of the cartoons, I guess. I don't know what episode it was, but actually in the game it just played this anime right in the middle of the game, which I thought was cool. And based on that one scene, I'm like, yep, I have to watch this. Like it's just really, it looks really good, very over the top, super bloody, like, you know, leave the kids at home, but it's but yeah, it looked awesome. So yeah, I will be watching that. I'm trying to think of what else I've tried to watch a little bit of Elfen Lied. That was really over the top too. That looked good. I don't know. I didn't get into it, but it looked interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of good TV. Like I remember there was a time. Some of you fellow old people will remember there was a time when there wasn't anything good on TV, and now it's like there's 47 streaming networks, and they all have some pretty good shows on them. So I've just found, like, even the question, like I understand the question, like do you watch anime, is like, it's such an incredibly, it's so incredibly broad now. You know, it's like asking, do you watch movies? I'm like, you know, I don't know, but yeah, they're very hit or miss. It's not like you can look at, oh, I like anime, and then you like them all. Like you know, there's as many subgenres within anime as I think there is comic books. But have you seen Arcane on Netflix? Yes. Arcane is like complete and total just eye candy. Like it all looks incredible. You know what? I did this on, I think I want to lean that blue instead of warm. So I'm going to make a couple of selections here. This is my quick, dirty, nasty, cheaty way of doing lighting sometimes. I'll put a levels adjustment on it and then brighten it to as bright as I want to get it. And then, like, if we want it blue, we can shift it blue. Well, that's looking a little purple though, so let's take some red out of it. And I'm gonna label this one. So this is like a cool light, basically. And this is a warm light. Whatever I feel like. We got both. Yeah, Arcane is like pure weaponized visual storytelling. Like it might be the best looking thing that's ever been made. Like I really like the look of that show. It's also excellent for studying like facial movement, and especially like noses. Like they do such a good job. They've got those. They really did. They did more detail in faces than most animated shows do. And with it being like 3D models, you can really see how these things move very well. Like I feel like I learned something about noses watching that show because I'm a weirdo. Favorite DC cartoon? Batman the Animated Series, the original. It's not even close. YouTube decided not to notify me this time. I tell you, they don't like me, man. You just gotta pay attention. You gotta always check to see if I'm on. just log in YouTube every couple hours, see if I'm on. If not, continue with your life. All right. This is one of those that is going to come together and look about the same for the rest of this. It's all going to be detail from here on out. Like, it's such a strong drawing. I don't really have to work very hard, or I don't feel like I do. I messaged Geoffrey to tell him I was on. He's probably he's looking on Twitch. Hold on. Come on, Geoffrey. Come on, man. YouTube.com/colorwithkurt, son. I could send him the link. That would be easier, wouldn't it? Probably. Oh, there I am. Sorry, hold on. There, now he's got the message. Geoffrey's the artist on this. Have I seen Spectacular Spider-Man? Which one is that? The only Spider-Man cartoon I remember watching was it was the one from like the late 90s. The first one that did like they did that weird logo that I never liked. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about? Like the line with the jaggedy letters. Like, apologies to whoever designed that logo. I do not like that logo. I don't remember the name of that show. The 3D one. No, this one was 2D. I haven't seen... I watched a little bit of that 3D one. It looks cool. Sorry, I'm doing more looking than coloring right now, but I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. I'm almost positive it wasn't 3D. Hold on. Let me see what the... I don't know what the name of it is. Spider-Man cartoon... 90s... The 94 series. Yeah. It was called Spider-Man, the animated series. And here's that logo. This logo. I don't like this logo. But yeah. As soon as I had a book that had that logo on it because I was subscribed to Spider-Man for a while, and I don't know why I disliked that logo so much. The Rami movies got you into superheroes. Whatever it takes, man. The X-Men animated series is what got me into comics. Stop right there. I'll take it. Hey, Geoffrey, what's going on, man? I just said like 2 minutes ago, I'm like, I mean, I've been streaming for 45 minutes, but it's been looking like this since about 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm gonna probably screw it up from here on out. But it's just gonna be more detail from here on out. But I do like the way this looks. I'm probably gonna push the background a little bit brighter behind them once once I get all this stuff settled in. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I think it's going to be awesome. But yeah, that's Geoffrey Gwin, guys. That's the artist on this. You guys let him know what you think about it. House of the Nerd Show. What's going on, man? I put in a good word for you with the Vault crew. So hopefully you'll get that that thing we talked about. I don't want to announce anything or say anything until we know. Don't want to jinx anything. It's wicked. Thank you. I'm digging it. You set me up, I'll knock it down. We're like Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, dude. I know there's there's a few people in here that know who that is. While you're here, Geoffrey, I got a quick question for you. These two sharp spikes coming out of his face, is that like action lines? Is that like saliva that is being thrown? Is it let me know what that is. Taking it back to the Seattle days. I mean, I thought of an alley-oop first. I'm like that's the clearest analogy, and when I think of alley-oops, I think about Gary Payton and Sean Kemp still. Yeah, it's a sports ball reference, Chris. Yeah, they're NBA players. Saliva. Yeah, we're good. No, yeah, we'll make it work. Feel free to color over. No, it's cool. I don't mind him at all. I just thought I heard a cat again. Maybe not. Rumor is NBA is coming back to Seattle very soon, as well as Vegas. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I don't know if will they call them the Sonics again, you think? Surely they'd bring back the Supersonic name. I would hope. You know, no, that's the logo that is underrated. Like I think it was was it the 90s, or maybe it was the first Sonics logo. Uh I think it was this one. Excuse me. Hold on. Yeah, this one right here. I actually like. Yeah, this is one of my favorite logos. I actually took when I was a kid. I had a. Man, what was it? I had like a wooden pennant. It was a wooden pennant clock. That was like, I can't remember what team was on it, but it was given to me like when I was really young, and whoever that team was, I grew out of it. And so I painted this logo and painted the whole board green and painted this logo on it instead when I was in like high school. Yeah. Yeah, Geoffrey, I don't know if you can link your what do you want me to link? I'll link them your is Facebook your go-to where do you send people? Because I don't think you can post a link in my chat. But I know about the facebook.com/madprops, the art of Geoffrey Gwin. How about that? Yeah, you can see more of his stuff there. If there's somewhere else you want me to send him, let me know. There's a bit of a delay. But anyway, all right. So I want this tongue to be like nasty and slimy. So I'm gonna put a lot of little specular highlights on this. If you want something to look wet, making your highlights, the specular highlights, really small will do that for you. I also never understood. At some point, Venom's tongue got spikes on it. No one asked me about this. Just one day, I opened up a Venom book and his tongue was covered in spikes. What happened? Link nothing. Oh, you got warrants, huh? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know when that happened. Was that a Todd McFarlane decision? John Boy happened? Is that what it was? Yeah, it's kind of like all the colorists. I know I've made this joke a lot on this channel, but all the colorists that like do all of Spidey's like squares as like individual plates of metal. Those people need those. I'm not a fan. Todd hates Venom's long tongue. That's funny. So I kind of want his, his legs textures to be a little bit different from like his other stuff. It's more cloth. I'm looking at this as more, shiny, reflective. Wherever superheroes go to get that fancy spandex look. All right. I kind of want to do one of those mystical rim lights that appears out of nowhere, but helps me separate these two. Where'd that light come from? It's the magic light. If I had a lot of money to pay someone to color my art, it would be you. I really appreciate that, Aaron. But you're 16 years old. No job yet, huh? Well, maybe one day. You never know. Wasn't there a story about the superheroes, Taylor? I don't know. You have a job. All right, cool. How much do I charge for? I don't have set rates for commissions because the size doesn't matter to me. That's what she said. But yeah, it depends on what's in the art. Like, cause you could send me an 11x17 with 47 characters on it. I have done that before. But no. I don't have any I don't really do standard rates, because as soon as I do, that's what'll happen. There'll be some really crazy someone try to take me up on it. Little convenient white spot of light back there just so happened to be in just the right place. This is cover worthy. I think so. I learned to flat from you. Now I'm writing and producing my own comic. So you learned to flat and then said, no way, I don't want to do that. I'm going to write and produce. No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of folks have learned to flat from that one video on YouTube. I swear, like, I hope there's not any bad habits in that video, because I don't think there are. But if there are, there's like a ton of flatters with the same bad habit. Because I've had so many people message me to tell me, like, I learned to flat from that video on YouTube. Now I'm doing this and doing that. So who knows? Hopefully it's all good. Excuse me. Yeah, you guys see what I named this file, right? This is Geoffrey Gwin. You get it? Because his name is Gwin? Yeah. I spelled it wrong, though, didn't I? Oh, I did. I gotta fix that. There's a W in there. There we go. Yeah, it's good to work with you again, man. It's been too long. I started the process before I learned to flat from you, but your video definitely helped. The business side can be a bit stressful, though. A little bit. A little bit. I'm kind of jumping around all over, but punching up some of this background a little bit. My goal, I think I mentioned this before you came in, Geoffrey, but my goal was to have this like be visible from space. So I think we've got that part done. All right, I'm just going to start tightening up details on this, I guess, because I don't really see. I'm getting to that point where I'm doing more looking at it than working on it. That's usually a good sign this early. Yeah, I'm really happy with it though. Hello, how's it going? Going well, going well. Which video of yours would you recommend to see for coloring an ink wash piece with gradient maps? I've got a video on gradient maps. I think I've got a video or two on gradient maps. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Nerd Show. Appreciate it. Love Miles' color scheme. I was going to ask you if you liked it. I forgot to ask. Like, my thought was, you know, he found one of those Scarlet Spider hoodies on sale somewhere and was like, you know what? I'm gonna roll with this. But you can tell it's not him. You can tell it's not Scarlet Spider. That's what I was going for. It wasn't until I changed his eyes around, because all I did, you can't really see, get really up close. Like, you had his eyes black, which of course is fine. I just took the black and turned it red, and then it looked like Miles. I'm like, okay, there we go. That's really what it needed, because when I tried doing, I briefly did his head red, and it didn't work. It just didn't look like Miles anymore to me. So I'm happy with it. But yeah, I'm glad you are too. It's actually pretty convenient when the artist shows up on the stream, because I can just bug him about, is it working? Now, the question, I guess, is how slick do we want Venom to look? Because we could actually push this a little bit more if we go up to like a really bright color. I'm over here painting, glad the camera isn't isn't on you. Hey, I can bring you on, man. Like, I've got Zoom if you wanna hop on and do whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little white around here to really give him that like oil slick look that to me is how Venom should look, and how he seems to be drawn here anyway. I still think like one of my favorite I've got it somewhere. One of my favorite Venom stories was drawn by what's his first name? His website used to be Herrera Box. I remember that, but I can't remember his first name. It's his website is still Herrera Box. Francisco Herrera. There you go. He did one of my favorite Spider-Man. I don't know if it was a run or if it was just an issue or two or what. I was trying to find a picture of him. Francisco Herrera Venom. Let me see what comes up. But his art is like, it's like if you took Humberto Ramos and then cranked it up another and then cranked it up like another 1,000% into the style points, you know. He does stuff like this. Like I love how just out there it is. Yeah, that was the issue. There was a dog that turned into him or something. But yeah, I really like the way he draws Venom. It's like just super, super stylized. But I vividly remember the colors, and it was colored kind of like this, where you had like this super shiny, slick look, and Like I'm not a fan of this look just generally. Like there's some colors that just do muscles like this, where or it used to be a thing more in the 90s, where they would just everything glowed, like reflected. And I was never a huge fan of that look, but it works on Venom. Dang it, Chris. Specular Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. You may almost make me choke on my water. Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. You want Peter and MJ to have a have a life together? Yeah, don't we all? That's the one thing Peter doesn't seem to be able to do very well. They just refuse to let him be happy in a relationship. Is that your battle axe on the wall? Yeah, yeah, it is. No, that it's a what do they call that? What is the name of that? It's a Fender um black top Stratocaster black top edition is what they call it. And it's also, I didn't know this when I bought it, but it's also it's like SSH or SH. There's something about the pickups in it that are unique, but I don't know enough about guitars to know. It was just on sale, so I got it. They're like, "Oh, this is a HHH model. That means it does this and that, and the pickups are cool." And I'm like, "Excellent." I was never like a gearhead when it came to guitar stuff. I just like, what does it look like? Does it look cool? Does it play cool? Okay. Will there be blurrage? I'm thinking at the very last thing. If I'm gonna blur something, it's the very last thing I'm gonna do, because the reason is I want to be able to blur the lines and the colors together. And so if you try to blur the colors too early, or you try to blur the lines too early before you're done, like, so the only way I know to do it that makes sense is to, like, I usually will make a flat version of everything on one layer. So like everything right now is on one layer on top. There's a command in here that lets you do that. Merge visible to new layer. And it puts it all on one layer. Well, then I will take that layer and I'll probably do a motion blur or something on that. Yeah, it's just super slow. But now you can see that, like, I've got the lines and colors and everything blurred. But it's going to look really cool when I'm done, because I think what I'm going to do is have it blur along that's, well, you're looking at it this way. It's going to, like, I'm going to do a motion blur, like, in that angle that we're using here. But I'm not quite ready for that yet. We're getting closer though. Did I see the news that CSP is going to be a subscription? Has anybody not seen that news? You know? Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard. I don't know. I don't think it's end of the world. I really don't. I'm gonna try something here that I don't know if I'm gonna keep, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I want to see. I just want to see what he looks like with some reflections on top of the lines. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. But if I do something like that, does this muddy it up? This is a rhetorical question. I'm not actually asking you. Don't answer me. But I was wondering, maybe not that. It doesn't need to be textured. But it's just another highlight on here, basically. I don't know if I like that or not. But it might get me. I'm just trying something. Don't shoot me, Geoffrey. I'm probably not going to keep this. I was just curious what that looks like, though. I don't think it really needs it. Yeah, Celsius eventually made a. They did respond. They basically responded with, we meant what we said. Some of y'all are mad about it. Here's what we intended. And it's basically the same thing. So, what is your favorite program that's not Photoshop? This is not Photoshop. This is Clip Studio. But I've been saying, if you've been following my stream very long, then you know. I've been warning y'all about this for a while. You knew it was coming. Everything's going to be a subscription, man. You're going to have a subscription to breathe air before too long. But yeah, it really just doesn't make sense for companies that are still allowing people to pay for like one time to use it forever. It's not going to stick around. It's just not going to be a thing. You're going to be like, remember kids, when I was younger, we used to be able to buy something one time and then it was ours. But yeah, we all knew it was coming. All right, I'm going to see. I want to see if I can bring out the letters on this through some kind of trickery without having to just draw them over the top. So if we double that, that didn't do, that doubled everything. Hold on. Control V, Control C. That is doing the whole page. What am I doing wrong? Oh well, I'll fix it in a second. And merge that down. Put that on top. And we can't play with the levels for some reason. But we shouldn't need to. We should be able to put a clipping mask on this. Yeah, that works. And now I just need to clean this up a little bit. pay monthly to sleep in your own bed. I think we already do that. It's called rent or mortgages. All right. Is there anything? I think I want to bring Miles out a little bit more along this edge. Brian Silverbacks. I think I've seen that name before. Somewhere. Facebook? This is Clip Studio. So, let's see. I think I want to push... again, to sort of like make this thing really like reverberate. Throw a little bit of red in here along the sides, which will sort of pull out the reds around Miles a little bit more. Is my wife doing dishes? No, she's cooking red beans and rice. She has a really good red beans and rice recipe. It's about half sausage. That's my request. It's like half Cajun sausage. Oh, it's spicy. It's so good. It's got onions and green peppers and basil, and it's really good. I need to ask Kurt about coloring something for me, but I have to make sure it's badass. Please do. I only want to color badass things. Zon, YouTube held your comment because it thinks that you're getting someone to actually subscribe to your channel or something. But yeah, subscribe to Eyesight Plus to see it, to use your eyes every month. That's probably why we can never go like, you know, if we do ever go like cyberpunk in the future and we all have like half metal faces and stuff, you're gonna have to have a subscription to use it. You know that, right? Like, hey, I've got this eye. It does X-ray vision and it telescopes, and I can see the moon. And then you don't pay for it, and it stops working. That's what's gonna happen. No Carolina Reapers. Not that spicy. I love how the colors on them, the lighting choices, have nothing to do whatsoever with the lighting in the background. This is where, like, you guys have always heard me say, like, the coloring doesn't, you know, realism is secondary to storytelling. This is a good example of that, because if this were realistic, all of this blue would be so neutralized by all the orange. Alrighty. We're getting warmer. We're getting warmer. It seems like the tricky thing is figuring out when to stop. You can easily overdo it in the highlight process. Yeah, I can, and that's why I'm slowing down because I don't want to overwork it, and I feel like it's I feel like we're getting close. I'm just sharpening up the eyes here a little bit over the lines. I really like the miles above uh, shirt. I'm just gonna leave that in there. Uh, it's one of those things that some people won't even notice until they get home. They'll buy it, be like, "This is really cool." Like, oh, look, his shirt has his name on it. No, I know you weren't saying I was, but I'm worried about that for my own for my own sake. Uh, but no, you're right. No, it's not. I don't think we're too close to messing it up too bad. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. There is. I'm gonna get rid of this little mark right here. Just because of where it is with his hand. I was wondering, are colorists allowed to cover up the line art when coloring? Or do they need permission from the inker's main artist? I'm thinking of people like, I don't know who that is. Uh, I mean, to answer your question, uh, usually there's it depends. I mean, it depends on. I mean, to say you're allowed, like, yeah. I mean, you're allowed to do things over the inks if you want to, but I feel like there's kind of an unwritten rule that, at least for me, it's like if it's too different, then if I'm doing something really dramatic over the lines, or I think I want to try something really dramatic over the lines, I'm probably gonna check, or I might run it by and just say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? But no, I mean, it just depends on the art. Like, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was just thinking about that for these webs, actually. I want to bring them out a little bit more, and so I'm drawing a few little squiggles over this just so we can see them clearly. But stuff like this, like, I'm not going to ask about. If Geoffrey doesn't like it, he'll tell me. Like, I know Geoffrey in real life. He's one of the few artists that I know that I've met in real life, so we have a good rapport. And sometimes he's even my therapist. Exactly. Where do I work at? Right here. I work in my office in my house. All right. We're getting closer. We're getting closer and closer. I mentioned Kale. I don't know how to say that last name. I'm sorry. New? Because I've seen his coloring for DC and Marvel, and more often than not, his colors overpower the inks greatly. I mean, the end result is awesome, but I don't know how they decide that. Let me look up this guy real quick and see what you're talking about. Are you sure he's not coloring himself? Let me look this guy up. Hold on. All right. Let's pull this in here and take a look. Excuse me. Ooh, this is good. I like this. He's just painting. Like, this is a painting. Yeah, he's a painter. I would bet large amounts of money he's coloring himself here. I really like this guy. Jeez. Thank you for that warning. Because I would have screwed that one up. This is incredible stuff. Yeah, this guy is surgical with his color theory too. Like, yeah, that is fantastic. So I gave this little what would you call it? I guess it's a lesson, pro tip. What company? I work for a bunch of companies, but right now I'm working for Vault Comics primarily. This is this is a perfect example of. Let me show you guys something real quick. I'm gonna give you guys my. I've talked about my rubber band color theory. This is such a good example. So, like, if you look at this green, we're like less than half saturated, pretty bright, but we're really desaturated though. Okay. In the background, we got a lot of black, we got a lot of gray, but all of that background lives like from gray down to like a really desaturated blue. So we're going from like here to here or so in the background, right? So if you think about all the colors in the background sort of fitting into a box that's about right there. And you can imagine putting a nail in right here and right here and right here. Imagine driving like a nail halfway in and then taking a rubber band and wrapping it around this. All right. So this rubber band is, you can think of as like the amount of tension between the colors in the background. Okay. We're just talking about the background. So when it's time for something to stand out from this background, if you choose colors that are already in the box, you're not increasing the tension at all. The rubber band is still going to be the same size. Okay. I'm going to do this rubber band a different color. I'm going to do it really bright green. There we go. So now when it comes time to add something in front of that background that I want to pull forward in the eye of the reader, I'm going to, you can see like the greens on her face, the greens in her hair. All these things are more saturated slightly. It doesn't take much. But imagine taking that rubber band and pulling it, and I need to be a different color. And imagine pulling it out until we get more tension under that band. So we started here, and now we've stretched that rubber band out to here, adding more saturation. We've also stretched it by adding brown, or what is reading as brown, which is this really desaturated orange, which doesn't appear in the background at all. So the orange is about out here. So again, we're taking that rubber band and stretching it all the way out to here. This is a really simple way to think about how to get your hues lined up. Like, we can't talk about value on this because value is like a z-axis coming out of the canvas. But they did obviously think about value too, because these whites, again, only appear this bright on her, but not him. You know, there is some white up here, but it's mixed in more with those grays and whatnot. So, but it's a really simple way to think about your color choices, and it works. It works every time. Like, to me, this is what everybody does, in my opinion. I'm looking, all of this guy's stuff is just stunning. But yeah, I gotta look up more of this guy's work later. Really, really solid. I just want to geek out about this guy's art. Just really, really amazing. I mean, his values are just surgical. I mean, if you put a, if you look at this in black and white, you see that strong, like these shapes here. That's doing like all the work on this thing. But yeah, we could geek out about color theory all day. I guess I should finish this. But like even this, like it's, I mean, this is a really simple way of looking at it, but I'm telling you, this is like the extent of my thought process when it comes to this. Is like, look at the background here. Now this is really pushed all the way, so like all of the background sort of lives, to go back to my rubber band analogy, it's all kind of right here. So if I take my rubber band and I wrap it around this area, I've got a certain amount of tension. And if I want to break this by adding more tension to the system, I've got all these reds and blues, primarily a lot of blues, but I'm taking this and I'm stretching it across the color wheel to this side. So I'm dramatically changing the tension on that color palette. That's how I think about this stuff anyway. Hopefully that makes sense to somebody. Glad I introduced you to this man. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, these are paintings. Yeah, I would call these paintings more than I would call them inks and colors. Like, and I'm almost certain he's coloring himself. Man, we might just have to have a appreciation stream for like this guy. Really, really cool stuff. I mean, even something like this, you can see, like, obviously the background is very, very simple. The more complex your foreground is, the simpler your background needs to be, in my opinion. So, like, having a really basic background helps to get all this stuff to break out of it. But you can see, like, there's a slight, I can see this because I'm used to this. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but there's a slight kind of coolness to all of these characters in the background. You know, like her skin tone is really, really gray. That's because there's a cool sort of overlay over this. And so even with something with a ton of characters on it, you can still break it down into what is, you know, a big dark value, primarily warm values on this character, and all of these are not warm values, warm hues, and then these are all leaning cool. So it's like even this, we're establishing that all of this is cooler than the front, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna have to like look at this guy's work later. I haven't seen his stuff at all. All right, so I think I'm about ready. I'm gonna run once over this one more time is what I'm trying to say, and make sure I have not missed anything that I want to do here. What do you, Geoffrey? Are you still here? How are you with this? Are you happy with this? Loving it. All right. So let's see if I can get. Let me show you guys how to do how I do a blur anyway. All right. You know what? This is just very, very slightly bothering me. This shape right here, I'm gonna push back a little bit more because it's the only thing. It's so close to the color that I chose for Miles that it needs a little halo around it. What is your suggestion for beginners? Buy my courses. Save yourself a lot of headache looking around YouTube. It was a bit of a tangent, yeah. All right, let's see what this looks like with I guess I can always over blur it and then put a mask to rein it back in. Because I am going to end up with a little blurry on the edges. I'll have to clean that up, I think. But this might be faster than setting it up that way ahead of time. I'm wondering... Hold on a second. So I'm going to make a new layer made up of all the visible layers so that I get the inks and colors all together. Once I do this, I'm basically done. There's nothing else to... I can't really work on it after this. So I'm making sure that I'm happy with this background. I'm actually curious, though. I want to see... Hold on. Let me just see if there's any... These are just a bunch of built-in gradient maps, and sometimes they will inspire me to try something. But I kind of like what I had. Yeah. Can saturate it a little bit. And let's see, filter, blur, motion blur. Now right now, like I said, it's getting some of the black along the edges. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep that or not. We'll see. I need to make sure this thing is pointing. Yeah, that way. So what we're going to do is sort of overcook this and then dial it back. What happens if I make it smooth? I don't like that. Let's make it a box. It is also grabbing too much of the edge, which I don't want. I'm going to undo that. And shrink this selection a couple times. Maybe that'll help. Yeah. I don't want to get the black edge on Venom included in this, basically. And you know what? I bet a radial blur might actually okay, that's an easy way to tell the direction. I'm gonna turn the strength way up and then change the angle. I can at least see the angle more clearly. I'm looking at those little things up at the top and seeing which way they're stretching. That's basically what I'm going for. Now, I'm going to put a mask on that and paint that away from the bottom so we can at least get the street sign clear. I'm still getting too much of the edge. It's blurring everything, which I don't really want. I'm going to have to do this on a different way, I think. Let's try something else. Make a new layer. I'm gonna delete them from that layer. I need to expand that selection a little bit more. Let's try that again. So now I'm wondering if I blur that, it shouldn't. I want to see what a radial blur looks like also. Oh, that's going to be slow. Nope, that's not going to work. Filter, blur, motion blur. Yeah, that works a little bit better. I'll clean up those edges too. I'm going to turn the strength down quite a bit. And then put a mask on that. Paint that out of back here so we can see the sign. And then I think I'm just going to go through if we do that and just delete that. I hate the edge thing. Even the smudge tool in Photoshop with selection does that. Yeah, it's like it's grabbing from a part that's not selected. It shouldn't do that, I don't think. Do I know Tony Infante? I don't know that name either. Do I need to look them up too? I'm just going to Google that. I want to try to finish this up, but I'm going to Google that for later. Yeah, it's really cool art too. I'll look at them later. All right, so what else do I need to do? I need to fix these. The web, we don't need that blurred as much. I'm just looking for places to clean this up a little bit. Yeah, I basically just want to sharpen up all these lines in the front. And even this is, you know, it's its own form of contrast. It's another layer of contrast, is because now we have sharp versus blurry. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. There wasn't many places where it was blurry, but when you lose, like, you know, you can cut yourself on Geoffrey's lines if you're not careful. They're very, very sharp. So, so yeah, it definitely helps to have keep those intact. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna pull this over to Photoshop and double check it there. Oh, I messed up his can't mess up the sig. All right, so let's save that. I'd love for you to make a stream breaking down artists like Kale, Tony, etc. Since you know so much stuff. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Learning more every day. I feel like I've learned more this year than I have in the last 9. Your wife called. What did you miss? You didn't miss nothing. I'm about to. I unblurred your signature and I cleaned up all of the blurred lines around the edges of the figures. And now we're gonna jump into Photoshop, and I'm gonna do a little final round of tweaking. And this will be done. So first thing I'm going to do is hit Control Y, which is going to let us look at this in CMYK. And you can see that it's not really changing because I made sure I picked colors that aren't going to change very much. You once got yelled at by an artist? I'm sorry. what Geoffrey Gwin thinks of the blurring of the background. He asked for it, so or mentioned doing it. So I don't think he has a problem with it. But I tell you what, I'm going to. Hey, they're looking out for your art, man. That's all. They're like making sure, is Geoffrey cool? They're just making sure you're good, man. I'm gonna put a levels adjustment on this background, and I want to brighten it up. Actually, that's selecting everything. I don't really want to brighten the characters. If I let me just clip that to. Did that work? Hold on. Yeah, that works. You can really see my where I blur that out too. I saved your signature. Don't worry, we're all good. But now I want to pump this up slightly. I'm going to put an extra copy of this on my other monitor. If you go to Window, Arrange, New Window, or in Clip, it's Window, Canvas, New Window. And I'm going to put this other copy on my big monitor, which is well calibrated and whatnot. I mean, this one is too, but I tend to trust my big monitor because I've had it longer. Yeah, I'm just making sure. I think it looks good. I think I'm happy with it. I'm trying to decide if it needs. Let's see. I thought I had some kind of. I'm thinking. I thought I had a splatter. I thought about doing a little bit of that, but I don't really know if it needs it. Like, just right there where it's connecting. Is that too gross? We're all happy. All right, good. What is the point of using Photoshop in the final stages of CSP? I don't know. There's like, I don't know. There's some weird. There's more than one discussion. If you guys are having like a dialogue between each other about something else, like, you can do that anywhere else other than this chat. Thank you. But the point is that I don't completely trust Clip Studio's CMYK preview. It probably wouldn't make any difference on this because there's really nothing on this that's anywhere close to like being out of gamut. But I'm just not a. The CMYK preview and clip is not exactly the same as Photoshop, and I know that Photoshop's is right. That's basically it. But yeah, I dig it. The contrast between Miles and Venom, does that worry you? No. I mean, I don't think I think it's clear. It's clear enough. they're right next to each other. You know, he's literally hitting him. His foot looks like it went through his mouth. So, anywhere else that's important is already backlit. Like over here. Whoops, that's not a good brush. But yeah, over here, like the way Geoffrey's framed him, you know, it doesn't really need anything else. His arm is separated up here. You got all this down here in front of his tongue. I think it's fine. But yeah, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up. There's another cover that I've got to do today, though, that I'm probably going to also stream. But I'm going to take a break from lunch first. And then... actually, I might save that. I will. I think I'll save that for Wednesday's stream. I think it's due Wednesday, but I think I can finish that Wednesday. But any questions before we wrap this up? Oh, dude, thank you. Thank you so much for drawing it. I just pushed it along a little bit, dude. Everything was here. But no, I appreciate it, man. Anytime. Well, I look into those artists and make a stream about it. I'd love to see you geek out. Yeah, I might can do that at some point. The problem, it won't be for a little while. This month is ridiculous. I've got more pages to do than I've ever had to do in my life. So, it's like 100 pages a month for me is a lot. So I'll try to do that at some point. Did I see your issue question? I'm scrolling back up, but no, I do not. If you will ask again, I'll be happy to answer. And anybody has any questions about anything, I don't mind answering those questions. I try to save time for everybody's questions that I may have missed at the end. So if there's anything you want to know about this or anything else for that matter, just let me know. Do click a button. Click a button, please. Please click a button. Any button. Just click buttons too. If it looks like a button you can click on, just click on it and see what happens. Like, subscribe, comment, join, consume, obey. What is your favorite artist? Or who's my favorite artist? I don't know who my favorite. Probably. I don't know. That's a tough one. Are we talking like historically or active or what? You know, the first thing that popped into my head was Joe Mad. Like, I'm still like, I'm kind of stuck in the 90s. He hasn't drawn a book in 100 years, but like, I'm a huge fan of how his art looks. Humberto Ramos, I like him a lot. Anything but the dislike button? No, click dislike too. I don't think it matters. Just click any buttons. It's just engagement. I've written issue 1. It's 24 pages. I want 2 and 3 to be like a 2-parter story, but I'm wondering if the 2-parters should be individually or stick with 24 pages. I don't know, man. I just color stuff. I mean, if you've started if you started one issue at 24, to me, you're setting an expectation of 24-page issues. But I don't know. I'm not a writer. You can do what you want. You mentioned a book that made you fall in love with comics and coloring. I forgot what it was called. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what book you mean. because it wasn't what got me into comics was the X-Men animated series. You won't be able to see the dislikes. I'll be able to see the dislikes. They show up in the analytics. They just don't show them publicly. That's such a stupid move, by the way. Like, you used to be able to look at it, especially for like those little 2-minute tutorials that you're looking for. Like, hey, I need to know how to make OBS work with my camera, and like you find a video that half the thumbs are down, you know not to watch it. You know, so they really just made it worse. Will I be at NYC? No, I don't think I will ever be able to go to NYC. There's just way too many people. I mean, the Comic-Con. I've been to New York once. There was too many people there too. But no, like I think like San Diego, New York, we'll leave those for people that like being around that many people. I am not one of those people. Oh, well, Black Science to me is one of my favorite books. It has to be what you're talking about. It didn't get me into comics or coloring though. But yeah, Black Science. Matteo Scalera draws it. Moreno Denizio colors it. I can't remember who writes it. I'm sorry. I buy so many books just looking at the art and never read. But I did actually read that one. It was good too. How do you feel about going back and remastering issues? I'm not a big fan. They almost always get worse. The ones that I've seen. When do you feel is a good time to... Yeah, it's not like anybody looks at the Mona Lisa and goes, let's bring this into the 21st century. I mean, I just don't understand. It's art. It should live where it lives. So, yeah, don't mess with it. I'm very unlike George Lucas in those ideas. All right. Any other questions? Geoffrey, if you're still here, thanks again for drawing this. It was a lot of fun. I think it looks awesome, if I may say so. It really came together. I really, what I said an hour and a half ago is true. Like, if you look at this and looked at how it looked after half an hour, you'd have to really look close. Why do people like... Because people have different opinions about what they like. That's why. Any other good questions? Sorry. Oh my god, you're really gonna come in my chat and complain about Star Wars prequels? Alright, I'm sorry you don't like them, but other people do. Get over it. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all in the next stream. Take care.